Good morning and welcome to another beautiful day in Virginia at the Nicole Shelley Models VIP Model and Protocol Masterclass. It has been an amazing weekend thus far. We still have a photo shoot to do and a competition and lots of great stuff, but I want to talk today about a subject that we haven't discussed yet. I know we've talked about communication and integrity and commitment and lots of great subjects. However, I realized that choices is one of the subjects that, although we've talked about it, there is a subcategory within choices that I wanted to address, and that is diversity. As you know, there are lots of people who agreed to come to this retreat. Some of them actually came, some of them did not, some of them reneged at the last minute. And I'm still thrilled. I'm thrilled because I know that the universe works so that everything happens for a reason and nothing happens before its time. And whoever was meant to be here is here. And whoever wasn't meant to be here is not here. And that's okay. It's all good. We are where the universe needs us to be at this time. And so, in looking at the landscape of what's happening now, I thought to myself, wait a minute, diversity is a subject matter here. It is. 22 years ago, when we started this company, our intention was to have and represent talent, minority talent for the most part. But we realized that our clients were not necessarily wanting that, and so we pivoted to provide more a Caucasian-based coterie of talent. And obviously now the landscape has changed. Diversity has been embraced so much more, and we're thrilled about that because that really is at our core. We love the fact that it is a universe for a reason. Uni means one. One verse. We're singing one verse, and that is the verse of love. So we're here today to discuss now, just for a couple of minutes, the subject of diversity. Not judging a book by its cover. When you look at someone, you think, okay, let's say a minority, a black person, okay, you think, oh, they must be African American, or they must be from Africa, or they maybe their mother was on drugs, or they slept in their car, or whatever it is. The stereotypes traditionally have been, and I love the fact that we have this diverse landscape today. That it's not just black, but it's other things, and you don't know what those other things are until you actually have a conversation with each individual, and you figure out, hey, what is their mindset? Who are they as a character? What are their goals? That's the individual. Everything else is just a shell. Makeup, no makeup, dressed up, dressed down, it's a shell. So I want to talk a little bit about diversity, tell you that I'm thrilled to be able to embrace it more because our clients embrace it more. But I also want to hear from you and your thoughts as whether it's a minority or whatever it is you think you are, whatever class or box you place yourself into. What are you thinking and how are you feeling when it comes to the subject of diversity? Aitasia, I'm going to start with you. Tell me, of course, welcome again. We love that you're here. But tell me your thoughts and your experiences being a minority, and what you think people should know about the word minority and about diversity.
I feel like you said, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. You never know where they came from. You never know what they've been through. And for me, people thought I was Arabic a lot, and like they would speak different languages to me. And then once I say I don't know what you're saying, they'll like brush me off a little bit, and it's just I'm like, you don't know me, so it's it's kind of crazy when people do judge because like you don't know me at all. You only seen me.
Exactly. And judgment is toxic.
Very
And where are
toxic.
you from? You're not from Africa. You've probably never been to Africa.
I'm originally from Washington D.C., but I have Haitian roots and German roots in my blood. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Haitian and German. And by
Hmm.
looking at her, you're not thinking German, you're not thinking Haitian, because also, too, a lot of people in Miami, for example, think that Haitians are darker skinned like me, that they have
Right.
a certain look. They're white Haitians, they're mixed Haitians. I mean, there is so much diversity in Haiti, but people don't talk about that. That
At
doesn't fit
all.
the narrative.
They
So I
think
love that you
Haitian.
said that.
Yeah, like they think people from Haiti is just black.
Are just
Like
very
just
dark
yeah.
or maybe poor. And there are lots of wealthy Haitians. I
Just like
mean,
people, like Puerto Rican people, you have black Puerto Rican people, Afro Latina. That's what, yeah. It's,
and I love it. It's beautiful because that's how you
hmm
learn and you grow. because of the diversity. When you learn and you meet someone that's different, that has a different background,
I
it
love
is the
meeting new
epitome.
people that's
Absolutely.
differently.
It is the
I
best.
love it.
It is absolutely the best. Thank you so much, Aitasia. I really appreciate your contribution. Kevin, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. You are like, I mean, yes, you are definitely a mix of all sorts of things.
Yes.
Tell me what has been your experience and what are your thoughts about that subject?
So it's actually kind of funny. I feel like what was expected of my life was, because I look darker than most people, like the white community would like be what I would be scared of. You know what I mean? That's kind of the stereotype. Like, oh, like, I should be nervous of the lighter skins. But where I actually grew up, the lighter skins accepted me, and the people who were darker than me actually like casted me away and made fun of me. And it was because I wasn't black enough for them. Yeah, because they knew I was half white, and like the way I would talk just didn't match the narrative or the stereotype, and I just had more of like an intellect way of talking, and I believe everybody's capable of that. But instead of like, you know, breaking that breaking that stereotype, they fell into it. Like my black friends or my black community fell into that stereotype, and I was not about it. It wasn't about defining me. It was about me being my own person, and the fact that I'm dark just is an advantage. You know what I mean? It's my advantage at the end of the day. And the fact that I have my own mind and my own thoughts and my own beliefs, and I was going to present that to the world, I feel like it was an intimidating factor. So instead of, accepting themselves, they were just like, they put themselves where it was comfortable. And I don't believe in comfort.
I like that.
You got to stay out of your comfort, because when you get too comfortable, you get boring, and you lose the values of life. You lose the values of what's being spontaneous is all about, and traveling and getting
growth.
to know, and growth. Exactly. Growth is probably the biggest thing in this entire world, because without it, you're never going to evolve. You're never going to see. You're never going to learn. You're never going to accept. You're going to be one-minded. You're going to be ignorant. And ignorant is bliss until it's not anymore.
I love that. Ignorance is bliss until it isn't anymore. Ignorance can be bliss, and it can be very dangerous.
Exactly.
What you don't know can hurt you.
There are too many examples in this world to not be the protagonist who's going to change a story. There's too many examples in this world to not change.
Absolutely.
And change for the better. Don't change because your neighbor told you to change. Change because
Change
you
for
have a
yourself.
change of heart. Change because you see a difference in yourself, and you see a difference that this world can bring for the better, for the positive.
Love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. Excellent. Thank you so much for that contribution. That's so rich and so meaningful, and I hope that everyone can take away a million messages just from that one little discourse that Kevin shared with us. Oh, Sam Glow. Welcome. Sam, welcome. You've added so much beauty, love, and light, like everyone else, to this experience this weekend. Tell me when I look at you, I see Latin, but tell me what experience you've had as, I don't know if people define you as a minority, or just with the experience, with the subject of diversity.
Okay, well, I was born in Jersey City. Almost some of my family are from New York. So we're more Americanized, but we're definitely Latino. My grandparents and my dad was born in Puerto Rico. And so in my personal experience, a lot of times I would try to embrace my Spanish culture, and I didn't speak Spanish. So moving to Miami afterwards, we had a lot of kids in the house. We definitely Spanish in our roots, in terms of culture, family time, but we just didn't speak it as much in the house with too many children. It was too much for them. So I moved over here to Miami, and that's when I was really getting the pressure of being a Latina that doesn't represent her culture to the best. So I took a lot of pride. I started learning. Now I speak a lot of Spanish. I'm now more interested in learning other languages, speak a little bit of French and a little bit of Portuguese. So in my experience, I've had a lot of times where people would call me out as more American than Latina. So, ultimately I transitioned into more of like more I take more pride in where I'm from, my roots. Regardless whether or not I was born there, I consider myself a Latina. You know, my passion, my life, the way I view things, my family, we're very Spanish. So I am Hispanic, which is considered Boricua, because you're not born on the island, but you are still Puerto Rican. And as far as experience with how I view other cultures, I just, like you said, it's a universe, right? We're all one. I'm an empath. I feel for people. This is what the glow is all about. This is why my brand logo has all colors, because we are all one. I don't judge any colors under the rainbow. We all have our stories. We all have traumas. We all have culture. We all have everything.
Victories,
Knowledge
everything.
is power.
Trauma and victory.
Knowledge is power. I love getting to know more people. I get to understand more. I try to be very courteous as well of others and their culture. So sometimes I feel that the fear of not wanting to hurt someone else may limit you, but you cannot. You have to be very respectful, and as long as your intentions are pure and genuine, you'll be able to learn about the individual without making them feel uncomfortable.
That is 100% correct. And that kind of goes back to what you were saying, and obviously what you were saying as well, Kevin. And that's that judgment. Judgment is so toxic.
Yeah,
it's so
exactly.
debilitating. And it goes in the opposite direction of growth. You know, everyone is a blank canvas until you get to know them and have an experience with them and their character. And then you can know, is this person part of my growth or not? That's the most important thing. All of this is a shell. It's a facade. What you see in front of you is a facade. The core, the heart, and the brain, the mind, the mindset, the attitude, how I make you feel is what you will remember. Yes, you might remember what I wore, absolutely, how my hair was done, all of this. But at the end of the day, all that is part of how I make you feel.
If I may add to that, self-awareness. The more self-aware you are, the more you have the ability to see within others when they are being genuine, when they do genuinely want to get to know you a little bit, or when they're being selfish.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's just beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much for your contribution. As always, so rich, so rich. Lena, oh my goodness. What could I say? Welcome, 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 welcome.
Thank you.
You have been you and
Lily.
have just been, I mean, I just have no words. You know,
Aw.
you are like a chameleon. You are like an octopus. With so many tentacles and arms and
Yes.
doing so much and spreading so much love and goodness and help and lights and I mean continuously with a smile on your face, no matter what it is. You can be in the snow, in the rain, sleet, and you're like love and lights and looking back. Thank you just for being here and for everything that you've done and are doing and for who you are. And diversity, I know somebody's gonna be like, well, what does she know about diversity? I mean, she's Caucasian, you know? Maybe she's American, maybe she's European. Who knows when somebody looks at you? You could be anything. Tell me what your thoughts are on diversity and what your experience has been with diversity.
Well, I mean,
You just
I
get
have,
everything because you're white?
yeah,
that,
well,
you know?
people automatically think I'm just a white girl, but then yo hablo español perfectamente porque mi papá es colombiano.
Oh, wow.
So la gente no sabía. And then they get really shocked because they automatically assume. And so they assume my mother's Canadian, my father's Colombian, and, you know, so they would never even know. And I was born in Hawaii. And also, when I used to model in Europe, we had a lot of Russian models, and they assumed that I came from just this like rich, fabulous family because I was American and white. But they didn't know that I grew up in low-income housing, that, you know, things weren't as perfect as the Americans are. So that was another misconception on me, that assuming I'm just this rich white girl, because I was successful as a model. I made all my own money and supported my family. And the Russians did that, but they assumed because I'm American that I would be another story instead of asking me. So that's another thing about assuming, you know. People assume a lot. So like you said, in universe, we are all one. And, you know, even like if we have aliens, universe, we are all one. Yes. And I never assume anything or judge anything. And my word is my integrity. If I'm gonna do something, I follow through. And I find that to be a really important thing, especially in the model world. People put a lot of money into their production. They work so hard to produce what they're doing And when people just don't show up or they assume this and that, you know, it's a detriment to their work, their hard work, their integrity, everything. And so I just feel like, you know, never assume and always be open-minded to hear and listen and be objective, because like you said, you never know what someone's gone through. Maybe they just got in their dad died yesterday and they're sad, but we don't know that. So, you know, give everyone the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely.
And make, you know, and don't judge until you and don't judge ever, even when you know the real story. And it's just acceptance
I love
of
that.
all, and
love
love
that.
all, love and light, and we're all one. Like, it doesn't matter. Lily, to furry friends, to black friends, to African American, to Indian, to
Everything.
Latino. I'm Latina, but I get the opposite of you. Like, they think I'm just this white girl, and then they're like, and then they talk about me in Spanish, and I
You
catch
know.
them. I'm like, oye,
I was
papi.
going to ask you that they probably talk about
Yeah.
you right next to you because they're like, for sure.
Yeah.
She's not speaking a word
Yeah,
of
they
Spanish.
don't
Yeah.
think I know, and then I say, "Oh, really?" And
Yeah.
then, you know,
love
so you never know what people know. For instance, people have been caught speaking badly and not knowing I understand, and then they go, "Oh, oops, see,
Yeah.
so already there." So you know, it's just about being a good person, open-minded, and just loving all people, no matter what, anybody and everybody. You
love
know,
that.
you can love from a distance. You don't have to be close to them, but send them love. Doesn't mean you have to be their best friend, but
That's so important.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you said so much amazing stuff. And I love that you mentioned that even when you do know the story, don't
Absolutely.
judge.
yeah,
Because, you know, you
Everyone's
haven't been
shoes are
there.
different,
That's some,
yeah.
the shoes are different. There's somebody else's
Culture,
shoes.
upbringing, experiences.
Maybe
You may have made a different decision, but ultimately, whatever experiences in life they had led up for that moment for them to make that. Regardless,
Exactly.
that decision will polish them up.
yeah,
brush
and
them up.
maybe something wouldn't hurt me, but it affects them in a different way, and so I have compassion for the way it affected them, and you know, let them
be.
feel their feeling or however, because everyone is different, but yet we are all one.
We're all
And
one at the
just
same
because
time.
you heard their story doesn't mean you understand.
Yeah,
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's one thing to break it down in your head. You can do that for days, and you could probably live on that thought. But like, to physically be in that environment, you don't know the stress, the anger, or the emotion, the depression, the anxiety within those
Post-traumatic
days,
stress
just of that
people
journey
get.
alone. And you won't ever, because you can't. Just like you said earlier, I think it was yesterday you said it. Time is not chasing us. We can possibly chase time if we're caught in the past, but time is not chasing us. So those days are gone.
Totally.
And the best
Can't
thing
get
you
it
can
back.
do is to look forward and just to follow that journey and figure out where to go from there. Because the more you backtrack, that's more time in the future that you're wasting on already wasted time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
You're
a double
doubling up.
negative, and double negative, that's not helping nobody.
It doesn't
baby.
create a positive. Sometimes
No,
a double negative creates a positive.
That's only mathematics.
That's
If
only
life was that
mathematics.
simple.
And a great quote that a great poet, Rumi, that just I get so much wisdom from him. He says that you can walk your path with others, but you have to walk your path alone. Your path alone. And it's because we have to go through our journey through ourselves, but you can walk it with others, but at the end you walk your path on your own.
So
That
true.
sounds very similar to something I heard was if everyone was to put their cards out on the table and look at each other's cards, we're going to leave with the same cards.
Yeah.
Because ultimately you may not be able to handle, like you said, the situation of someone else, or reality is you're made of what you went through.
You're
Yeah.
made of what you went through. And it's so funny, again, talking about judgment, that you say, oh, well, I wouldn't have done this, and how could he or she do that? You never
You don't know.
Yeah.
what you do if you specifically
When
are
you're
in that situation.
Exactly.
You and your fingerprint that's unique to you are in that situation.
I can't count
Maybe
the
you do
amount
the
of
same thing,
times.
maybe you do something different.
Because your journey is your own, and you make it what you want to make it. You can sit in sorrow and be angry about stuff that's
Already gone.
irrelevant and gone, or you can choose to be like you and rise above everyone and love everyone instead of being like, oh, you're too black, you're too white. You're like, I just want to be friends with everyone who's cool,
Exactly.
who's just gonna be good energy and fun and doesn't care about
All
this,
that
the
distraction.
fur, I'm talking with Lily, her furry friends or whatever, so.
Totally.
And they lose out on life because of that ignorance. And that's ignorance in them,
Is
actually.
danger.
And that's danger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they lose it.
They lose so much in life by thinking so small.
But
and
you
you
stay thinking
think big.
positive, and you don't know what influence all of us in this room, come across people that are like that. We shed the light.
Yeah.
Spread the light. And even in the darkest of times, if you have that glow within, you're gonna
Yeah.
you're still gonna feel good.
That's it, Sam Glow. That's it. And then something I also wanted to mention, as we were talking about diversity, I remember years ago, I was at a luncheon and this woman said to me, "Oh my goodness, next week I'm going to Africa." And she pointed at me. I'm like, I've never been to Africa. I grew up in the Caribbean, went to school in Denmark, went to school in Paris. I speak 8 languages. Like, what Africa? I've never been. I would love to go to Africa, but
I've been to Africa.
So it just goes to show. But anyway, I love so much that we were able to have this genuine, authentic chats. And I hope that we can continue to shed light and be the light and be love and light to the world. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.